The Golden-Haired Girl and the Trio of Bears by R.E. Drake. Once off in a forest, a long ways away, there was a small house where these 3 bears did stay. There was Mama, Papa, and their baby boy, named Maggie and Marvin, and little Kilroy. Now Maggie, she made a mean pot of porridge, with extra to put in the freezer for storage. This one Sunday morning she made up a pot that was bubbling and boiling and really too hot. The bears all decided that it might be good to let the food cool while they walked through the wood. So they set off together to walk through the trees and left the door open to let in the breeze. The scent of the porridge went off through the air and was smelled by this girl out walking near there. She wasn't that big, a mere 7 years old, and had long yellow hair that shined like spun gold. She stepped off the path and then followed her nose right up to the door that the bears did not close. She stood on the porch and then looked in and spied 3 fresh bowls of porridge just waiting inside. She just couldn't resist such a heavenly smell and walked through the door as if under a spell. She went to the bowl placed at Papa Bear's spot, but only to find that it was still far too hot. She moved to the bowl set at Mama Bear's seat, but it was too cold, having lost all its heat. She tried the last bowl and found it was just right. Of Baby Bear's porridge she ate every bite. Though just a small baby, Kilroy was a bear, many times larger than the girl with gold hair. So his bowl, it was large and held quite a bit, and filled her up so much she needed to sit. In the very next room of the House of the Bears, the little girl found there a row of 3 chairs. The first, it was large. It was Papa Bear's chair, but it was too hard for her soft derriere. The next one was softer, no doubt about that, so soft that it swallowed her up when she sat. She jumped back on down and tried chair number 3, and found it was comfy as comfy can be. She put her feet up on the edge of a table, then tilted back on rear legs that seemed stable, but really they weren't, as the chair tumbled back and struck the hard floor with a resounding crack. The chair, it was broken. The girl was all right, and learned that to tilt back like that wasn't bright. She was still very full and tired as well, and needed to lay herself down for a spell. She walked out of the room and right up the stairs, and found there the room with the beds for the bears. The first one, that's Papa's, was too hard again, too rough and abrasive for her tender skin. And the second one, Mama's, was just like her chair, so soft that it swallowed her all up in there. And she struggled and fought to get herself free, then moved on, exhausted, to bed number 3. And wonder of wonders, in Baby Bear's bed, she found it just right as she lay down her head. Her eyelids grew heavy, they drooped, then they closed, and the golden-haired girl soon started to doze. Well, just about then, the family of bears walked up to the porch and then mounted the stairs. They each paused at the door to wipe off their feet before going inside, all eager to eat. Marvin looked down at his bowl with a stare, then frowned as he spotted a long golden hair. "Say, this isn't right. All us bears are brown-haired. My porridge was sampled, I think," he declared. Maggie looked down at her bowl and she spied some thick, sticky porridge drip down from the side. "Well, I'm not so messy. That's how I can tell that someone has sampled my porridge as well." When Kilroy looked down at his bowl, he agreed. "Yes, someone has sampled. They sampled indeed. They have sampled so much," the baby went on. "They sampled my porridge until it was gone." "Well, this isn't good," Papa said with a frown. "It's rather disturbing. We'd better sit down." They turned from the table, that trio of bears, and went to the room where they kept all their chairs. Now Papa stepped up and he sat on his seat, then spotted a golden hair down by his feet. "Hey, wait just a second. I think there's a clue that someone's been sitting upon my chair, too." Mama Bear noticed that the arms of her chair were sticky with porridge and rose to declare, "Well, I know for a fact there can be no doubt that someone was sitting here while we were out." Now Baby Bear looked at his chair in dismay, not sure what to think or just what to say. "I don't know how anyone possibly sits so hard that it's broken my chair into bits." The bears exchanged glances of worry and fear, aware that this someone just still might be here. They looked through the kitchen, the room that had chairs. Then slowly they started to climb up the stairs. Marvin went in first and looked at his bed and found there a hair from a golden-haired head. "I think that this someone was having some dreams, for someone's been sleeping in my bed, it seems." One look at the way that her bed was undone, and Maggie was sure that this certain someone had also been sleeping in her bed upstairs. So that's what she said to the other two bears. Then Kilroy moved over to bed number 3, quite nervous and fearful of what he might see. But when he got closer, he found that he spied a girl with gold hair, all curled up on her side. "Come over here quick," Kilroy loudly exclaimed. "I think that the someone on who this is blamed has not only been in your beds as you fear, but is sleeping right now in my bed, over here." The others came over, surprised by the sight of the golden-haired girl, so tiny and slight, too small to have emptied the bowl of a bear, or do all that damage to Baby Bear's chair. At the loud sound of what Kilroy had said, the girl had yawned and sat up in the bed. She rubbed at her eyes and then opened them wide to stare at the bears standing at the bedside. Then the little girl screamed quite loud and quite long, and the bears all jumped back, unsure what was wrong. The little girl leapt from the bed to the floor and ran past the bears and their beds through the door. She kept right on running away down the stairs, then right on outside of the house of the bears. And that golden-haired girl, still screaming in fright, took off down the path till she ran out of sight. The bears at the window, they watched as she fled, confused and perplexed, until Papa Bear said, "I do not believe that whenever we're out, that we should come home to find strangers about. So next time we leave, this is what we should do. We'll close all our doors, and we'll lock 'em up too. The others agreed that this would be a good deal. Then they all went downstairs to finish their meal.